All right, folks. Well, here's Rad-Cal installation part 2. So let me show you what I did to the cabinet. I filled all the holes. There were some holes down here that needed filled. I got those filled and sealed with some just clear coat. Then I sanded all this. I lightly sanded all of it. I painted the edge, and I matched the paint to the decals so it looks decent, even though I probably won't need that. And then I got the interior of this thing painted, and I'm currently putting in some ground braid. But essentially, and then on the bottom of the cabinet, I gave it a coat to seal of just some oil-based enamel in black, and I'm going to redo some of that right now, which isn't a big deal. But what I want to show you is I'm getting ready to install the Rad-Cals themselves. Now they're not stuck down. A couple things I'm looking at here is I fixed the edges on this thing, and you'll notice there's a little overhang here. See if I can get that. It's not very pronounced, but it's enough. It's about the thickness of Rad-Cal. So in theory, when the other side joins up against it, it should have a good corner. That's what I'm really worried about, are these corners here. Okay, so these corners right here are really what you're going to be exposed to. And then to a little bit lesser degree this, you can see I painted and sealed all this. I've got a little bit of touch up to do, but it's not a big deal. The issue with this is and I can't find this anywhere. What do you do when you're doing Rad-Cals? Do you put the sides on first? Do you put the sides on? Or do you put the front on? Well, in this taxi, it's kind of tough because this hole's pre-cut, right? These holes are hidden, right? So I clamped that down, just hold it. But these holes are hidden, or already, by the frame of the coin door. So in theory, I'm having some focus issues. Sorry, guys. So in theory, this is not a big deal, and I can widen those or whatever because all this gets tucked under. But oddly enough, this hole has to be where the green buttons for start goes. So this has to be correct. So the way I see it, you can't really put the front on and adjust it, or the sides on and adjust them. There's no holes on the sides pre-drilled. You got to pre-drill everything. So I'm going to have to drill this. There's other holes here. Obviously the legs are cut out, so we don't have to worry about that. And I painted and sealed there and made some repairs with epoxy and stuff. And so, but the issue is this right here has to be correct. I suppose you could widen it, but it's in the artwork. So, which means, you've got a little bit of a gap here, which is fine because that's covered up by the lockdown bar. And then my thought is to match these corners up on the front. And then if I need to trim it, I'd rather trim it down here by my shoe on the bottom of the cabinet, because that essentially won't be seen. But this corner here is going to be seen by everyone who plays it. So this front of the game has to look right, at least in my opinion. And obviously this has to be correct. So I'm kind of stuck putting the front on first. I'd love to put the front on last and adjust both sides, but I think I'm going to have to do it this way. Now, if you look here, there's a little bit of a ridge. It's not quite the same ridge as the other corner. So I may have to adjust it slightly and tilt it. Like that. This corner, goddammit, I didn't get that filled very good. And that's where the leg compresses. Honestly, I'm not super worried about that. That'll be covered by the tip of the leg. And if I would have filled it, it probably would have been crushed anyway. So I'm going to use the metal standoffs right here. So I'll put metal cabinet standoffs there, which should keep it off of that edge and should be fine. If I look down this side here, that looks pretty good. I'll have to straighten it out, but then I have to touch up this black because I only put one coat of this oil base on here, which is really just a seal coat. I sanded it and sealed it. I did that only because it was stained so bad with gum, and I didn't want to replace the bottom. It looked fine. No one's going to see it. This isn't a HEP restoration. Kudos to him because he does amazing work. But I'm not that good, so we're going to try it this way. And then I had a big dent over here, and I filled that with just some gypsum mud because it was real thin. Sanded it, then shot clear over it just to seal it in, and so I had a solid backing. But everything's good. I painted this bottom corner. So anyway, that's what I'm working on now. And so next thing I'll do is I will Peel this. I'll get another clamp. I'm going to clamp one side down so it doesn't move. I'll peel back that side, cut the backing, and lay that flat, and then I'll take the clamps off and lay it flat the other way. And then I'll start on the sides. And then once I get those done, I can start doing all the drilling because, you know, like I said, we got some holes to drill. So just wanted to show you that quick. And that's part 2, and we'll get to the good stuff in part 3. Also, gang, there's a couple things I am using here. I just got some regular isopropyl alcohol. This is some pretty good stuff. Yeah, it's made by Cleantex. I don't know. You can get this at Walmart. Just get 90% or higher isopropyl alcohol, I think, is fine. And then I just use a medical grade rag. Usually is what I use to do this. And basically, you can see there's primer and paint and goo and stuff here. You want to get this area really clean before you peel this section to put down your Rad-Cal. So that's what I'm doing. At least I don't know if that's the rules or not. So here I'm just going to wipe the pinball cabinet down, the top of this with some isopropyl alcohol to get any more dust. Again, I gave this a light sanding, you know, not very heavy sanding. I didn't dig into that decal. I don't want to gouge it. That's not imperative. I sanded that too, and I'm just using this to get down in here. And if you look at my rag, so I did sand. You can see some of that stuff came off. So there was still some stuff on there even after cleaning it before. But that's all clean now with isopropyl alcohol. You just let it evaporate and dry. So it's free of any oils or anything like that, because really all you want is the adhesive on the back of your Rad-Cal sticker to stick. So that's what we're doing, and we should have this done here pretty soon.